Namaste guys, how's it going? Quick chai session video before I get on a coaching call about a new overseas client. How to speak in public. I'm going to talk about that. And this is going to be slightly advanced because I know a lot of the Desi audience, like the Hindi guys, have been asking me to make a video on this topic, but this is not going to be like that because that's going to be primarily about the basics, hand movements, posture, physical grounding, speech, vocals, blah, 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 blah. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about right now two primary things, in my opinion, that make you an effective public speaker when it comes to how to speak in public confidently. Because that is the key word here. Two things. Number one, you got to understand that when it comes to speaking to a group or speaking on top of a stage, we tend to assume, or rather the default assumption is that we are speaking to a bunch of people and we have to create an impact on the bunch, or we have to create an impact on the group. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Why? I think Jordan Peterson has spoken about this. I think you would have seen me do this in the personal meetups, like the brotherhood meetups that I have, where it is a meetup, right? So when I'm talking, an entire group is listening. But am I talking to the entire group? No. For those of you who would, ever observe closely me when I am in front of you, you will see that I'm talking to every person within the group one by one. And that's what the esteemed Jordan Peterson talks about, that you are talking to each person within the group. And when you start doing that, then you can actually have an impact, because it is only via the impact on individuals that you can create an impact on a group as a whole. You have to impact the individual first so that their reaction to you or their listening to you happens organically. Not because they're part of a group where, let's say, the majority of the group says that, you should listen to that person. Or let's say we are part of the army and, the commander says, kill this particular enemy, and we all have to listen to them. Whereas the organic drive from within to do something is different. So when you're talking to a group, if you will talk looking in the eyes of one person at a time and you talk to that one person, it is going to be more impactful, because you are going to get constant feedback that, okay, while I'm talking, let's say I'm talking to you now for 10 seconds, then I'm talking to the next one while I'm talking the other 10 seconds, then I'm talking to the next one while I'm talking the next 10 seconds. Are they following my train of thought? Are they with me when I'm saying all these things? Because through their facial expressions and through the contact and link that's going to happen between my eyes to the person I'm talking to, that is going to give you enough information to tell you, are you creating an impact or not? Now you might ask me, okay, like Sirhud, you say this, but like, how do we create an impact? Maybe we are not a good speaker, maybe our English isn't good, maybe we don't have good ideas, maybe blah, 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 maybe blah, blah, blah. See, the currency you're looking for, like I made this video, I don't think it's gone up yet, but I use the word currency for curiosity. But the way you're looking, the thing you're trying to get out of people here is listening. You're trying to get them to listen to you. The impact will happen later, right? As they process the information that they hear from you, that's when the impact is going to happen. Like, for example, my work, the impact is something which is not going to happen immediately, because we are not into entertainment, we are into education, right? So entertainment is like you watch a chick twerking, oh my God, immediate impact. You watch somebody making jokes or pranks, those videos online, okay, immediate impact, entertainment, some passing of time and then fucking forget. But how do you create an impact when you're talking to a group if you think that you don't have the necessary attributes required in your personality to create an impact? You don't need them. You need a quality which is honesty. Because if, when you're talking, you're gonna remain 100% honest, because what happens when you fucking stand in front of a group is that you change and your behavior changes and the way you talk changes and the way you think changes, because it might be that, oh my God, what are they thinking about me? Or, oh my God, I need to maintain a reputation or an ego. How many people you know on YouTube who host a meetup, for example, and this is, I'm just giving you an example because this is not to get personal, but this is an example because a lot of you, if you're watching my kind of stuff, I'm sure you're watching other stuff, or if you're if you're part of any social media person's cult or community, I wouldn't really use the word community, I would rather say cult. Very few people, I believe, have a community online. I think it's more like a cult or the godman mentality, especially when we talk about the masses over here. So take celebs, for example. How many of them would you think have the same behavior in front of you as they do when they're performing? And I know there is a distinction between the personal life and the business or professional life, but that's not what I'm talking about over here. So what I'm talking about is honesty. So when you're standing on a stage, or when you're standing in front of a group, when you're standing in front of the public, and you're talking, you need to be basically saying your own truth 100%. Because if you will do that, you don't need to think, okay, am I going to make sense when I talk? Because the truth does not need to make sense, because it is truth in itself. So it is self-validating. And honest conversation should never ever be intimidating. If you are going to talk to anyone, why should you have any fear or any anxiety or any nervousness? It is only going to happen if you're not sure or honest with yourself about what you're going to say or what you want to communicate about. Suppose you take, and you know how this helps is that you might ask me how to speak in public in the context of work meetings. You might ask me in the context of some of you trying to become something on social media. You might ask me this in the process of in front of your college, class, how to give a presentation and talk over there. If you have not done your work sincerely, or if you're not sincere to your own idea, how the fuck do you expect to convince other people of it? It's very simple. Think about virtue signaling, the radical people who have these radical beliefs, and sometimes their physical expression of having that belief, such as the riots which you see in the United States happening over different, I can't even fathom any possible reason, but sometimes it's so interesting to observe this from a human behavioral point of view, that look at the person causing physical destruction simply because he can't actually communicate his idea with peace. So it is the sign of an educated man to be able to entertain ideas without having to unnecessarily create conflict or refute them. Even if he disagrees, he can entertain peacefully. And this is actually a quote by someone, I don't remember the exact one, but this idea has come from a quote. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to give the credit because it doesn't come to my mind. It was someone like, I think Benjamin Franklin or George Washington. I'm guessing. But basically, number one, you're talking to each individual within the group. And number two, you want to be honest. Because when you're talking to each individual within the group, you can make out that are they with you on the same page or not, or are they at least listening to you or not. And then comes the second portion, which is honesty. Because if you're honest, then you don't need to worry. If you're honest, you don't need to overthink. If you're honest, you don't need to be anxious, nervous, etc. But very few people are sincerely honest with themselves about what is there in their mind when it comes to convincing or communicating with other people. So they lack the clarity to put it across, because you don't need fancy language. As long as you know language, so basically if you're educated or literate, the ability to read or write in one language, if you're literate, you don't need to be fucking Shakespeare. Okay? The basic of vocab is going to work for you. The basics of vocab, literally. Because actually it's going to be even better. I think if I could speak in very, very simple terms, I might be able to convince even more people, or I might be able to make sense to even more people. But I think my natural style is long, complex statements, which might go from one idea to linking it to another, to linking it to another. Even if you observe my writing, like these long ass captions which I write under my Instagram pictures, fucking cream. But I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying, because if you can look after these two simple elements whenever you're standing in front of a group of people, you won't ever have to worry about, am I making an impact on the group or not? You won't ever have to worry about, are they getting me or not? Because you need to worry about, are you getting me or not? Are you getting me? Are you listening? That's what you need to only take care of. Number one. And number two is the honesty. And I think that ultimately summarizes public speaking, because it is the ability to communicate an idea to another person or a group of persons. But a group of persons will not get it if the individual units consisting within that group don't get it in the first place, right? So you want to communicate to the individuals within the group. And second, you want to be sincere, because I am a believer that if you don't know something, or if your head is not clear about it, or if you don't have your own opinion which is well formed, or whatever, I think it is better to stay silent than to speak in most situations, so that at least when you speak, it matters. And when you speak, if you are sure of what you are trying to convey, whether it's a college project, whether it is a meeting where you have to do a presentation, if you have done your work sincerely, it will come out. You can't fucking cheat code public speaking, which is the activity used to communicate an idea to a group of people. You can't cheat code it. That, okay, I'm going to apply these two things and boom, it's going to happen. You can't do that. So work upon these simple two things if your basics are already sorted, because you can learn the basics from any Tom, Dick or Harry on YouTube. But like if you've got your basics sorted, if it is something that you need to educate yourself on, because I don't believe you need to educate yourself on that. I think the more sincere and honest you can be with yourself, your own idea, your own thought, and then you end up communicating it with the sincere emotion that you carry for that particular thought or belief or idea, boom, it's going to make an impact. Let me know if you want me to talk on any other thing. Drop it down in the comments below. If you have any questions, more than happy to answer you over here. And look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.